Welcome back, traveler of quiet questions, seeker of gentle truths. Tonight, we drift once more into the soft borderlands between mystery and knowing, that shimmering edge where wonder still lingers and understanding glows like starlight on a still lake. For as long as we have existed, we have looked upward and asked, why does the sky hold light? Why do we dream? Why does time move forward, never back? Once, these questions belonged to gods and fire. They were spoken by wind and river and shadow. But then slowly, patiently, science leaned close and listened. Each discovery did not banish the unknown. It gave it new shape, new breath. Equations became verses. Data became story. The universe, vast, trembling with quiet order, revealed itself, one heartbeat at a time. So tonight, I invite you to rest. Not to learn, but to listen. We will wander together through 50 of the mysteries humanity once feared and now gently understands. You will see how thunder is born from air's collision and heat, how stars create the atoms that become your breath, how time itself may not be an arrow, but a tide. Each truth, once wrapped in myth, now hums with calm certainty. You need not remember them all, only drift and let them pass through you like moonlight through fog. Every revelation is soft, every answer a doorway, and beyond each doorway is peace. So breathe, slowly. Feel your thoughts settle like dust caught in a beam of morning light. Let curiosity melt into quiet, and quiet into sleep. The universe has never stopped explaining itself, and tonight you will hear it. Not through thunder or flame, but through stillness, through clarity, through awe. Now, close your eyes and let the first mystery unfold. Look up, and the blue you see is not the color of the sky itself, but sunlight scattered through the air. When sunlight enters Earth's atmosphere, it meets tiny molecules of nitrogen and oxygen, too small to see, yet countless beyond imagination. These molecules scatter the shorter wavelengths of light, the blues and violets, more efficiently than the longer reds. This scattering, called Rayleigh scattering, spreads blue light in every direction, filling the entire sky with that gentle hue of distance and calm. It is not a wall you look at. It is light made visible by motion, a river of energy shaped by the breath of air. At dawn and dusk, the sunlight must pass through more atmosphere, losing its blue, allowing the reds, oranges, and purples to bloom across the horizon. That's why sunrise feels tender and sunset feels eternal, the same process of scattering, seen from a different angle of time. Even the color you perceive depends on your own eyes. Your brain filters violet more faintly, leaving blue to dominate. So the sky you see is not only a product of physics, but of perception, of the mind joining the dance of light. And above that pale, endless blue lies more air, then darkness, then starlight scattered in the same way across cosmic dust instead of oxygen. The sky's color is not a painting on a surface, it is a song of photons vibrating through emptiness, heard by the eyes, translated by the soul. When you lie beneath it and breathe deeply, you are not separate from that color. The same molecules scattering light above you are entering your lungs, connecting you, moment by moment, to the infinite dome you gaze upon. The sky feels endless, because it is, because your vision, your breath, and your thoughts all dissolve into it. What you see is the memory of sunlight diffused through air. What you feel is the quiet comfort of knowing that even light needs somewhere soft to rest. The weight of nothing, why space is not empty. Out there, beyond the air you breathe, beyond the edge of blue, lies darkness. But space, true space, is not empty. It is filled with whispers too faint for our senses to hear. Between the stars, there drifts an ocean of dust and plasma, of fields of energy that pulse, stretch, and shimmer in silence. Quantum particles flicker in and out of existence, appearing, vanishing, reappearing again, like the breath of creation itself. Physicists call this the the quantum vacuum. But there is nothing vacant about it. Even in the coldest, loneliest corners of the universe, energy hums, quietly, persistently. Every atom, every photon, every grain of matter once swam through that invisible sea, and still does. Space also carries memory. The faint afterglow of the Big Bang cosmic microwave background radiation still lingers everywhere. You cannot see it, but it washes over you, gentle and constant, a warmth from a birth older than time. Dark matter weaves invisible threads between galaxies, unseen but felt, holding everything in a cosmic embrace. And still farther out, dark energy pushes space apart, a slow expansion, like the universe exhaling into eternity. So, no, the void is not void. It is alive with possibility, woven with the same matter that built your bones and breath. The atoms that form you were once scattered through those same distances, drifting, waiting, dreaming. The stars did not create the universe out of nothing. They formed from a quiet abundance too subtle for eyes to perceive. When you gaze into the dark, you are not staring into emptiness. You are looking into the womb of existence itself. The quiet is not absence. It is potential. It is the space that allows all things to be. The secret life of rain. How clouds decide to fall. High above you. The air holds its breath. Invisible water vapor born from oceans, rivers, and leaves rises, cooling as it climbs. Tiny dust particles, pollen, ash, salt drift through the sky, waiting. And then, one by one, droplets begin to form around them, each a seed of a future storm. Billions gather, suspended in balance, too light to fall, too heavy to disappear. The sky darkens not in anger, but in density, the color of water about to remember gravity. As droplets merge, their weight grows. When the air below can no longer hold them, gravity whispers, and they begin their descent. Each one reshapes as it falls, tumbling, stretching, colliding with others, creating the rhythm of rain. Some never reach the ground, they vanish mid-air, feeding new clouds, completing the loop. Others strike leaves, rivers, rooftops, singing their quiet percussion across the world. That sound, that constant, soft rhythm slows your pulse, synchronizes your breath with the planet's pulse. The scent you smell, petrichor, rises from dry earth meeting water again. A chemical reunion, older than humanity, a reminder of continuity. When rain touches your skin, it carries the memory of oceans and clouds, of sunlight turned liquid, of gravity's patience. And when it evaporates, it leaves nothing behind but potential. The cycle never ends, it only transforms, water dreaming itself into air and back again. The rain does not fall on you, it falls with you, completing a loop you were always part of. And as the last droplet fades and the night folds softly over the earth, you realize that mystery was never something to be solved, only understood, quietly, through light and space and rain. Fact 4. The trees that speak in silence. Deep within every forest, beneath the hush of wind and wing, a network hums. It is not made of wires or waves, but of roots and threads of fungi, connecting tree to tree in quiet communion. Scientists call it the mycorrhizal network, the wood wide web. Through it, forests whisper, exchanging nutrients, warnings, even comfort. An elder tree sends sugars to saplings hidden in shadow. A roots touch and recognize kin. And when one tree is wounded, others shift their chemistry to help it heal. The soil itself is alive with this conversation. Molecules of carbon, nitrogen, and trust, moving through darkness, unseen but constant. Each leaf above you is part of this harmony. Drinking sunlight, exhaling oxygen, breathing in your carbon dioxide. Every breath you take is answered by the trees. Each inhale a reply, each exhale a gift. Their patience shapes the air, the weather, the rhythm of life itself. To stand in a forest is to stand inside a living mind, slow, kind, deliberate. Time moves differently there, measured not in seconds, but in seasons, not in noise, but in knowing. When rain falls, it trickles through bark and leaf, sinking back into roots, completing a loop older than words. The forest never truly sleeps. It simply listens. And if you listen too, if you quiet the thoughts that race like wind through branches, you might hear it, that low hum beneath sound. The pulse of the earth speaking to itself through trees that do not need voices. The next time you breathe in, remember, the forest breathes with you. You are never separate from the green intelligence that built your breath. You are a syllable in the language of leaves. The fire that renews the world. Fire. The first mystery humanity ever touched. The oldest companion of warmth and fear. We once saw it as divine, a living being that ate wood and danced with wind. But science revealed it as chemistry, the rapid union of oxygen and carbon, matter meeting light. Yet, even now, it feels sacred, for fire transforms. It destroys, yes, but also begins again. In the wild, fire is renewal, clearing decay, returning nutrients to soil, awakening seeds that need heat to grow. Some forests cannot exist without it. Pine cones sealed shut for years, open only in flame. After the smoke fades, new green shoots rise from ash. Tender, defiant, inevitable. Fire is not chaos, it is correction, a balancing breath between death and birth. When you stare into its flickering orange heart, you are watching energy return to its source. The warmth on your skin is sunlight from centuries ago, stored in trees and freed again. The crackle is carbon sighing into air, rejoining the cycle it always belonged to. Every ember carries both ending and beginning, both silence and song. So when you warm your hands by flame, you are not standing before destruction. You are standing within transformation, the world remembering how to change. And in its glow, you see your own reflection, fragile, luminous, burning briefly, yet part of something eternal. The ocean's pulse beneath the moon. The ocean breathes, drawn gently by the pull of the moon. Twice each day, it exhales toward the shore, then retreats the planet's slow heartbeat. Gravity reaches across space, tugging entire seas without effort. What you see as waves and tides are the language of that unseen touch. This rhythm shapes life itself, guiding migrations, nesting, birth. Turtles hatch when the tide is high. Coral spawns with the full moon. Whales sing along the deep vibrations of this lunar current. The water you hear crashing against the shore tonight is ancient, the same water that touched the feet of trilobites, of poets, of stars reflected in every age. Even the smallest ripple follows laws older than time, momentum, friction, equilibrium. But beneath those equations lies something gentler surrender. The sea yielding to gravity, the moon yielding to orbit, all things moving together without resistance. Listen long enough, and your breath begins to match it. Inhale with the rise, exhale with the fall. You are breathing in rhythm, with oceans and moons, with the very physics of peace. The sea never keeps what it touches. It gives, and gives, again. Every wave is a letting go, every retreat a promise to return. That is why the sound soothes you, because it reminds you that everything lost will find its way back again. And now, as tide meets shore and silence meets breath, you feel that same balance inside you, the gentle push and pull between motion and rest. Each mystery explained, but never diminished, still glowing quietly beneath your ribs. The heartbeat of the earth, how the planet moves beneath us. Beneath your feet, the earth is never still. The crust you walk upon drifts slowly, continents gliding atop molten rock, floating like leaves upon a hidden sea. This movement, plate tectonics, is what built the mountains and carved the oceans, what split the world apart and brought it together again. Every earthquake, every volcano, every trembling of stone is part of this long, slow breath. Deep below, Molten rock churns in vast convection currents, hot material rising, cooler material sinking. This motion pushes entire continents across millions of years. India once sailed north to meet Asia, their collision raising the Himalayas mountains so high they still grow a few millimeters each year. In the Atlantic, new crust forms constantly, spreading the ocean floor like pages turning in a book. And where plates slip past one another, tension builds until the earth sighs in motion, a quake, a release, a reminder that stillness is only surface. You cannot feel it as you stand here, but the ground beneath you moves faster than your heartbeat. The same deep rhythm that shapes mountains shapes your bones, calcium and iron, born of the same elements below. The tremors you fear are also the ones that made your world. Creation, written in pressure and patience. So, when the earth shakes, remember, it is not anger, it is memory. It is the planet stretching its spine after a long sleep. The continents are still traveling, still dreaming, still dancing beneath you. And through it all, life continues, swaying to a rhythm older than sound. The hidden light, inside the atom. Inside every atom, there is a secret so small it can only be imagined. Protons and neutrons huddle within a tiny nucleus. Electrons drift like ghostly halos of probability. Yet within that invisible architecture, the light is born. When an atom absorbs energy from heat, from collision, from starlight, its electrons leap outward. Then, as they fall back into their orbits, they release photons, the building blocks of every color you've ever seen. Every flame, every aurora, every sunrise is the echo of this quantum dance. Energy transforming into light over and over without exhaustion. The atom does not shine because it wants to, it shines because it remembers. The laws that bind it are ancient. The same physics that govern galaxies govern the carbon in your skin. When you see light, you are watching atoms expressing harmony, matter vibrating at just the right frequency to become visible. Even you are partly made of starlight. The hydrogen in your body was forged moments after the Big Bang. The carbon and iron within your blood were born inside dying suns that exploded long before Earth existed. You carry their energy, their memory, their music. When your body warms beneath the sun, your atoms hum in resonance, light recognizing itself in flesh. The smallest particles of your being are the universe remembering how to glow. The whisper of wind, how air learns to move. The air you breathe is never truly still. It moves because light falls unevenly upon the world, heating land, sea, and mountain in different ways. Warm air rises, cool air sinks, pressure shifts, and the sky begins to stir. That stirring becomes wind, an invisible river flowing around the earth, sculpting clouds, carrying seeds, painting dunes. But the wind is not chaos. It is choreography. Each gust follows rules written in temperature and time. It rushes across plains, curls around valleys, softens into breezes that stroke the grass. Even hurricanes and storms are patterns seeking balance, pressure, trying to find home again. Every breath you take once belonged to someone else. Some tree, some ocean, some faraway wind that crossed deserts and seas before reaching you. The same molecules of air that brushed the feathers of an eagle might now drift past your lips. We are all connected through these invisible migrations, shared breath, shared rhythm. Listen now, outside your window. Even the faintest rustle carries the song of sunlight turned to motion. The wind has no beginning and no end. It moves between everything, always returning, always alive. When you breathe, you are not just drawing air, you are joining the earth's slow exhale. You are the pause between currents, the soft silence between gusts. And the wind, that unseen voice, is the planet reminding you that life is movement, and movement is peace. And as the air grows quiet, and the atoms settle into their soft, invisible hum, you can feel the same deep rhythm within yourself. The earth turning, atoms glowing, the wind remembering its path. Each mystery explained, yet never diminished. The shape of clouds, how the sky paints, its thoughts. Look upward, and you will see the sky dreaming. Clouds forming, shifting, dissolving, like thoughts carried by invisible tides. They begin as water vapor too light to fall, too gentle to see rising quietly from rivers, forests, and breath. When warm air meets cold, vapor condenses, gathering around dust, pollen, even the salt of distant seas. Tiny droplets link hands. Sunlight strikes them, and the sky begins to draw. Each type of cloud has its own language. Cumulus, bright, playful, cotton thick with joy. Cirrus, thin whispers of ice, trailing like memories across the upper air. Stratus, low blankets of grey, patient and still, a sky choosing silence over colour. Even the storm clouds, anvil-shaped and glowing from within, are not anger but balance, a release of weight. The reason clouds stay afloat is simple and beautiful: buoyancy. The droplets are so light, their fall is slower than the air's rise. They are in constant motion, a harmony of ascent and descent. When sunlight filters through them, scattering becomes art: reds at dawn, golds at dusk, purples before night. What you see are not static shapes, but time made visible, air remembering how to move. When a cloud finally releases its rain, it vanishes not in loss, but transformation. The water falls, the sky clears, and soon, vapor will rise again. In that endless cycle of forming and fading lies the gentlest truth. Even the sky knows how to let go. The memory of leaves, how trees capture time. Each leaf that flutters outside your window is a living clock. When sunlight touches it, chlorophyll begins, its quiet alchemy turning photons into food, air into sugar, and time into color. Through photosynthesis, the leaf breathes, exhaling oxygen, inhaling carbon dioxide. It is not only creating life, it is recording it. Every tree keeps its diary in its rings, but its leaves keep it in color. In spring, green returns, a promise renewed. In summer, each leaf works tirelessly, catching sunlight, storing energy, shading soil. And when autumn comes, they fade not because they die, but because they give. The chlorophyll retreats. The chlorophyll retreats, revealing pigments that have been hidden all along: amber, crimson, gold. Those colors are the tree exhaling the season, releasing what is no longer needed. Even after they fall, leaves continue their purpose. They feed the ground, hold moisture, shelter roots from frost. Decay is only another kind of creation, a slow unraveling that feeds the next bloom. The air you breathe tonight was shaped by 1 billion leaves before you were born. Their memory lingers in every breath, in every heartbeat. Each leaf that ever lived left a trace of oxygen in your veins, and in autumn's rustle, you can still hear the sound of trees remembering. The hidden ocean in the sky. The sky, you see, holds more water than all the rivers on earth combined. Not as waves or drops, but as vapor, invisible, weightless, suspended in light. This hidden ocean travels the world in silence, forming clouds, storms, snow, and gentle rain. Every day, the atmosphere moves over 40 trillion gallons of water, evaporating, drifting, returning. The air you breathe contains tiny jewels of moisture, so small they escape sight, yet they shape the weather, the seasons, even the rhythm of your body. When humidity rises, the air holds warmth longer. When it falls, the world cools and dries. These invisible currents link mountains to oceans, deserts to forests, heartbeats to tides. A storm in the Pacific may become snow on the Alps. A drop from the Amazon may one day fall on your open hand. Scientists call this circulation the hydrological cycle, but it is more than science. It is the Earth's breath. Evaporation, condensation, precipitation, inhale, pause, exhale, again and again, for billions of years. Even your tears return to it. Each sigh you release contributes to the air's invisible sea. When you look at the sky and see nothing, remember what it carries: an ocean without shores, waves without sound, life without boundary. The sky is not above you, it surrounds you. You are already swimming in its quiet tide. The symphony of the stars, how the universe keeps its time. The stars above you do not simply shine, they sing. Not in sound you can hear, but in rhythm, in light, in vibration. Each star pulses, expanding and contracting in quiet breath, creating waves that ripple through space, soft and ancient. Astronomers call them oscillations, patterns of brightness that reveal what is hidden within. The sun, too, hums this silent tune, a low, ceaseless thrum beneath its fiery skin, waves that echo through its plasma like heartbeat through blood. For centuries, we thought the heavens were still, a painting of lights upon a black canvas. Now we know they are instruments in motion, a symphony of hydrogen and helium, gravity and fusion. Each star keeps time with its own rhythm, yet together they create harmony, galaxies spinning like slow-turning records of light. Even silence is not silent. It is the background hum of creation, cosmic microwave radiation, the faint afterglow of the universe's first breath. If you could translate their frequencies into sound, it would be a lullaby too deep to hear, a tone that stretches beyond language, beyond measure. The same physical laws that make stars vibrate also shape your heartbeat, your voice, your breath. When you sigh, you echo the sun's oscillation. When you rest, you move in sync with the Milky Way's slow rotation. You are not separate from the star's music. You are one of its notes. Each atom in your body vibrates with a pitch too small to sense, yet perfectly tuned to existence itself. Every motion, every thought, every dream is part of this universal tempo, the great rhythm of being. And when you look into the night, you are not observing the sky. You are listening to the deepest song there is, the universe keeping time with you. The voice of the ocean, how waves remember the wind. Every wave that curls and falls carries memory. It begins as wind, invisible fingers brushing against the sea's surface, transferring motion, whispering direction. The water responds, not instantly, but gracefully. It gathers, folds, and releases that energy across thousands of miles. Even when the wind dies, the waves continue remembering the force that shaped them, long after the moment has passed. This memory is called swell. It is the ocean's echo-long rolling movements that outlive storms, traveling farther than sight or sound. Some swells begin in the Antarctic and reach the shores of Hawaii weeks later, unchanged, unhurried. Each one carries the imprint of wind and gravity in perfect proportion. Physics explains it in numbers, energy, momentum, refraction, but when you watch the sea, none of that matters. You only feel the rhythm, eternal, inevitable, soothing. The shape of a wave is the handwriting of air upon water. It records the weather, the temperature, even the pull of the moon. Every crest, every trough, every glimmer of reflected light is a language the ocean never forgets. And when that wave finally breaks upon the shore, it releases all that memory and sound. A soft hiss, a rush, a sigh. The earth breathing back to itself. You may stand there, eyes closed, and feel that pattern repeat through your body. Inhale, rise, exhale, fall. The waves are your lungs writ large, the tide, your heartbeat extended across the world. The sea is not something you visit. It is something you already are. The light within fireflies, how living things create light. In the quiet of a summer night, you might see it. Small sparks drifting above the grass, pulsing in slow rhythm, bright and brief. Fireflies, carrying lanterns made not of flame, but of chemistry. Inside their tiny bodies, a molecule called luciferin meets oxygen, and with the help of an enzyme named luciferase, light is born. This process bioluminescence wastes almost no energy. Unlike our electric bulbs, which lose heat, the firefly's glow is pure radiance, cold, soft, impossibly efficient. They use it to speak, flashes meaning, "Here I am, this is me, come closer." Each species has its own pattern, a private language written in light. But the wonder doesn't end with insects. In the deepest oceans, fish and plankton shimmer like drifting constellations. In forests, fungi glow faintly beneath fallen leaves, turning decay into beauty. Even in laboratories, scientists study this glow to understand how cells communicate, how life itself illuminates its own path. Bioluminescence is not magic. It is life revealing itself in color. Light born of hunger, of love, of signal, of survival. You are made of the same elements, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen. The same ingredients that could, under the right dance of atoms, emit light of their own. The firefly is not showing you something foreign. It is reminding you of something forgotten, that you, too, carry the capacity to glow quietly from within. And now, as the fireflies fade into the hush of the night, you realize that every glow, every shimmer, every vibration is not a secret to keep, but a truth to rest within. The fire beneath our feet, how volcanoes breathe the planet's heat. Beneath your feet, far below the soil, beyond the stone and silence, the earth glows. Rivers of molten rock swirl in slow, heavy currents, not violent, but patient, measured, ancient. This is the planet's hidden breath magma, rising and falling in rhythm with the inner heat that has burned since the Earth's birth 4.5 billion years ago. Volcanoes are not anger. They are exhalations. When pressure deep within becomes too great, the crust opens not to destroy, but to release. Lava spills, gases sigh into the air, and the surface reshapes itself, slowly, perpetually. Every island you have ever walked upon, Hawaii, Iceland, Japan, began as such a breath. Molten rock meeting cold ocean, solidifying into land. From that fusion of fire and water, life found foundation. Even volcanic ash, once feared, is full of gift, rich in minerals, feeding forests, painting the soil with fertility that lasts for centuries. Without these eruptions, the Earth would stagnate, heat trapped, crust unrenewed, ecosystems starving of nutrients. Each plume of smoke that curls into the sky carries chemistry older than continents: sulfur, iron, carbon dioxide, the raw whispers of creation. Some volcanoes sleep for millennia, then stir again, not in rage, but in memory, the planet reminding itself that it still lives. Beneath the surface, the mantle churns with unending motion, heat rising, cooling, sinking, a planetary heartbeat slower than ours, yet far more enduring. The same energy that glows beneath you powers the stars above fusion and fission in endless dialogue across scales too vast to measure. If you could listen closely, you would hear it, a low hum beneath everything, the earth murmuring through stone, a sound not of danger, but of continuity. So, when you see fire spilling down a mountainside, remember, it is not chaos, it is renewal. The planet is breathing, and in its heat, we are warmed. The breath of thunderstorms, how the sky balances its heart. A storm begins not with sound, but with imbalance. Warm air rises quickly, carrying moisture into higher, colder layers of the sky, where it cools, condenses, and builds towers of cloud so tall they pierce the troposphere. Each droplet rubs against another. Charge separates. The cloud becomes alive with tension. And then, when the difference is too great, lightning bridges the gap, reuniting sky and earth in a single flash. That light is hotter than the surface of the sun, tens of thousands of degrees in a breath of time. It splits oxygen, creating ozone, purifying the air, even as it shocks it. A moment later, the air contracts violently and thunder rolls, the sky exhaling in relief. Every storm is a conversation between heat and cold, between gravity and vapor, between calm and release. It is nature finding equilibrium, over and over, through sound and flame. Rain follows fat, heavy drops that strike the ground like punctuation marks to the sky's sentence. The air cools, pressure evens. The cycle completes. Then comes silence, that wide, rinsed stillness after the storm has gone. Scientists measure lightning in volts, thunder in decibels, rainfall in millimeters. But what they cannot measure is that feeling, the calm that comes only when energy has finished its journey. When you stand beneath a dark sky and see the first flash, remember it is not anger, it is balance. It is the world teaching itself to breathe again, and every rumble that follows is the earth saying softly, "It's okay now." The deep sea's hidden light, how darkness teaches life to glow. Miles beneath the waves, where sunlight never reaches. Life has learned another language. In this black, crushing world, colder than ice, heavier than stone, creatures make their own light. It is not reflected, but born chemical fire glowing through flesh, silent lanterns drifting in the abyss. This is bioluminescence, the ocean's art of survival. Tiny plankton flash when disturbed, turning the water electric blue. Jellyfish pulse with rings of light, luring prey or confusing predators. Fish carry lanterns beneath their eyes. Squids whisper in colour. Even bacteria glimmer on the skin of sleeping whales. Each glow is purpose, communication, camouflage, creation. In the absence of sunlight, evolution found imagination. Life learned that darkness was not emptiness, but canvas. Pressure here would crush steel, yet these beings thrive delicate, glowing, unafraid. Their organs hold chemicals luciferin and luciferase that meet oxygen and release photons, the same process that lights the firefly's path above. Every flicker is a heartbeat of the deep, a Morse code written in radiance. When submarines descend into this midnight world, the lights fade behind, and suddenly it is stars again. Not above, but below. Constellations of coral, galaxies of drifting plankton, planets of pulsing medusae. The sea, in its greatest silence, reflects the cosmos. The same wonder, the same geometry, the same slow dance of light. So when you look up at the night sky, or down into the Black Sea, you are seeing mirrors. The universe folded upon itself. Stars above, stars below, tar both burning for the same reason, to be seen, to be known, to remind you that even in darkness, there is light waiting to bloom. And now, as the sea glows softly in memory, and thunder fades far away, you can feel the earth itself exhale through heat, through storm, through stillness. Every force, once feared, revealed as balance. Every mystery, explained not to lessen wonder, but to deepen it. The rhythm of sleep, how the body listens to the earth. Each night, without command, your body begins to slow. The pulse softens, the proof, the breath deepens. Eyes grow heavy as thought melts into rhythm. This surrender is not weakness, it is biology, older than memory. Every living being, from flower to whale to human, carries a clock within a pulse that keeps time with the turning of the earth. As daylight fades, light entering your eyes begins to thin. Your brain, sensing this, whispers to a tiny gland called the pineal. It releases melatonin, a molecule that opens the gate between waking and dreaming. Heart rate slows, blood pressure drops, temperature falls, the body folding itself into quiet. Your mind drifts into cycles, descending through waves of consciousness, as predictable as the moon's pull on tides. Even plants obey this law, closing their leaves as dusk descends. Coral reefs glow in the dark when the moon is full, and birds rest in rhythm with the stars. It is not magic, but harmony, the Earth's rotation written in the language of biology. Sleep is how life honors time. It is the body's prayer to the planet, a promise to rest when she rests. Scientists can trace these rhythms in your cells, circadian genes that switch on and off like breathing. Every 24 hours, they rise and fall, tuning hormones, hunger, memory, even mood. When you fight sleep, you fight gravity itself, the gentle tug that draws you back into balance. But when you surrender, when you let the rhythm return, you feel it. A sense of belonging, of falling not down, but inward, into the same rotation that carries clouds and seas. You are not simply sleeping. You are orbiting stillness, turning with the earth in slow, endless grace. The sound of silence. Why the world needs stillness. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of everything beyond it. In the forest, between bird calls, in the pause after thunder, in the breath between waves. Silence lives. It is the Earth's most ancient frequency, the sound of equilibrium, of peace between movements. Your brain hungers for it. When noise fades, your mind begins to heal. Heart rate steadies, muscles loosen, the nervous system exhales. Even at the cellular level, your body recognizes stillness as nourishment, a signal to repair and remember. That's why moments of quiet feel timeless. They dissolve the illusion of separation between self and world. Scientists measure silence not in decibels, but in perception. True silence, like that found in the deep Arctic or deserts, can make the heart slow to the rhythm of the wind. Astronauts say space itself feels silent, not empty, but vast, filled with the hum of one's own heartbeat echoing through the suit. When you close your eyes, you can hear your own body singing softly, blood flowing, breath moving, neurons flickering like distant stars. You realize then that silence was never absence. It was always presence. In a world that never stops, silence remains the rarest element. It is what holds the notes together in a song, the gap between words that gives them meaning. And somewhere deep in the body, silence meets sleep. The same slow drift of surrender, the same peace of returning home. The world does not need more sound. It needs the courage to listen. The memory of stone, how mountains keep time. Every rock you touch, every cliff you pass, was once fluid. Molten rivers hardened, cooled, fractured, folded stone becoming memory. Mountains are not solid monuments. They are slow movements made visible. Each ridge and valley marks a page in the Earth's autobiography, written not in ink, but in gravity and heat. Geologists read these layers like chapters. Sediment pressed by oceans, volcanic ash sealed by wind, fossils of shells where deserts now stand. A single pebble might hold 1,000,000 years in its grain. Even the highest peak was once seabed, lifted skyward by the slow ballet of tectonic drift. Time gathers there, quiet and immense. Erosion is not destruction, but translation, the reshaping of form into dust, into soil, into seed. Wind and rain carve mountains not to erase them, but to let them breathe again. Each crack, each fallen stone is a word in the conversation between the planet and time, and somewhere within that dialogue, you exist too fleeting, yet part of the same rhythm. Your bones share their minerals. Your cells echo the mountain's structure, calcium, iron, silicon, all once part of the same ancient crust. You are not standing upon the earth. You are standing within it. When you touch stone, you touch your own beginning. So rest your hand on a rock. Feel its coolness, its weight, its silence. What you feel is not stillness, it is time, condensed. The mountains are breathing slower than we can see, and when you finally sleep, your body will join that same rhythm. Stone and skin dreaming together, endlessly. And as mountains dream and silence hums, and the planet turns beneath the stars, you feel yourself drifting with it. Steady, weightless, infinite. The language of rivers, how water learns to sing. Every river begins as a whisper, a gathering of melted snow, of forgotten rain, of springs that rise unseen from stone. At first, it is only movement, a thin line of persistence carving through earth. But as it travels, it learns to speak through ripples, eddies, and waves that translate gravity into melody. The song of the river is shaped by everything it touches, the width of its channel, the smoothness of its stones, the tilt of its descent. Scientists can describe this in numbers, flow rate, velocity, volume, but the truth is more poetic. A river is time made visible, a motion that remembers direction. Every bend tells a story of resistance, every flood a moment of emotion, every calm stretch a sigh between thoughts. The water that glides past you tonight might have once passed beneath an ancient bridge, through a glacier, or along the roots of a tree that no longer stands. It carries the memory of mountains, the minerals of continents, the scent of rain from 1,000 years ago. Rivers teach endurance through movement. They do not fight gravity, they surrender to it, transforming descent into grace. When you stand beside one, your breath unconsciously matches its rhythm. Inhale with the current's rise, exhale with its retreat around a bend. Even in darkness, you can hear the water's pulse, a heartbeat stretched across landscapes, whispering of connection and continuation. Every drop within it is on a journey toward reunion, toward the ocean, toward stillness. Yet when it arrives, it doesn't end. It rises again, vapor turned to cloud, rain turned to river again. No destination, only transformation. And so the river sings not of arrival, but of return, an endless hymn to patience. When you close your eyes and listen, you can hear that same current in your veins, the body remembering that it too is water finding its way home. The architecture of clouds, how air learns to build. The clouds, drifting above you, are not accidents. They are structures, precise and mathematical towers, veils, bridges of vapor suspended between worlds. Each one forms when invisible moisture finds form, the tiny droplets clustering around particles of dust or salt, gathering until light itself begins to play upon them. It is air sculpting itself chaos, discovering pattern. The shapes are not random. They depend on temperature, pressure, and the altitude where wind and moisture meet. Cumulus rise like mountains of cotton, cirrus stretch like frozen sighs across the upper sky, and cumulonimbus tall, majestic, electric build, cathedrals of thunder where the earth meets heaven. Each layer of the atmosphere has its own story, its own craftsmanship. Clouds are the architects of shade, the engineers of weather, the painters of time. They move not by choice, but by equilibrium, drifting wherever balance demands. Even as they dissolve, their molecules continue reassembling, transforming, returning to form elsewhere. In them lies the lesson of impermanence. Nothing lasts, yet nothing is lost. When sunlight pierces through a cloud's edge, scattering into rainbow, it is physics revealing its tenderness, light remembering color. To watch a cloud fade is to witness creation unmaking itself beautifully. They fall apart not in tragedy, but in trust, knowing that every mist, every drop, every wisp will find its place again. You are like that too. You are a pattern held briefly by breath, always forming, always dissolving, always returning to the larger sky. So when you look upward, remember, the sky is building, not breaking. Each cloud is a thought of the world, passing gently across its mind. The gravity of the moon, how the sky touches the sea. Far above the tides, silent and silver, the moon keeps watch. It looks still, but its pull is constant, a soft, invisible hand shaping oceans into breath. Every 6 hours, the sea rises toward it, then retreats. The earth and moon move in dance, bound not by chain or sound, but by gravity's quiet embrace. That pull extends beyond the ocean. It tugs the crust beneath your feet, shifting continents by millimeters, bending air and even the flow of your blood. Your body, rich with water, responds too subtly, rhythmically, unknowingly. Every drop in you feels the same lunar music that commands the sea. The moon's gravity does not dominate. It persuades. It teaches the earth to move gently, never holding, always guiding. This same force steadies our planet's spin, giving us stable seasons, predictable tides, the comfort of rhythm. Without the moon, the world would tilt wildly. Oceans would grow still, the length of days uncertain. Its distance just right keeps everything in harmony. When you see the tide retreat, it is not absence. It is breath. The ocean pulling back to inhale before its next exhale. When the moon waxes, the waves rise higher, the night brightens the planet, remembering that it is being watched and held and balanced. The bond between sky and sea is ancient, a love letter written in orbit and motion. Even now, as you sleep, the tides are turning under lunar light. The waves you hear are not random, they are choreography. The moon's hand tracing the surface of water in slow, endless grace. And perhaps Your dreams drift with it, rising and falling in time with the pull of that pale companion. You, too, are a tide, a soft reflection of gravity and grace. And as clouds dissolve, rivers flow, and the moon breathes across the sea, you feel it, the quiet thread that binds everything that moves. Nothing stands alone. All is connected, and all things, in their own rhythm, find their way home again. The birth of stars, how darkness gives birth to light. In the heart of the universe, far from sound and wind, there are clouds so vast that they hold the seeds of suns. They are made of hydrogen and dust, cold, weightless, drifting through the void for millions of years. But slowly, gravity gathers them, atom by atom. The cloud folds upon itself, drawn inward by its own invisible longing. Pressure builds, temperature rises, and then in the silence of eternity the first spark ignites. Hydrogen atoms fuse into helium, releasing light that has never existed before. A star is born. No explosion, no noise, just radiance emerging from collapse. Creation, in its truest form, is quiet. The star begins to shine, sending warmth into the dark around it, light traveling across billions of miles, crossing the black like a heartbeat through space. For billions of years, it will burn steadily, balancing gravity's inward pull with fusion's outward push. A perfect symmetry, expansion, and compression in eternal conversation. Every atom in your body, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen in your lungs, was forged in a star like that. When those stars died, they scattered their ashes into the galaxy to form new worlds, new life, new hearts. You are, quite literally, the memory of light made solid. And even now, when you look up at the night sky, you are not seeing stars as they are, but as they were. Their light traveling for thousands, millions, even billions of years before finding your eyes. You are looking into history written in photons. You are witnessing time itself made visible. The stars are not far away. They are the ancestors of everything you are. Every time you breathe, you continue their story. Light becoming life, life becoming light again. The shadow of the eclipse, how alignment becomes revelation. Once, in a while, the moon steps directly between Earth and Sunday, and for a few rare minutes, day becomes night. The air cools. Birds fall silent. The world holds its breath. To ancient eyes, this was terror, a divine erasure, the sky devouring itself. But now we know it as geometry, the perfect alignment of three celestial bodies, the precision of orbits turning shadow into spectacle. The moon, though 400 times smaller than the sun, appears the same size in our sky because it is 400 times closer. That coincidence, so fragile, so exact, allows the moon to cover the sun completely, revealing the solar corona, a crown of fire usually hidden by light. During totality, the stars reappear in daylight. Planets shine. The sun's outer atmosphere dances like silver flames. Scientists measure magnetic fields and test Einstein's theories of light bending in gravity's curve. But even knowing all this, when it happens, when the shadow falls, the heart doesn't stay scientific. It still feels awe, because in that darkness, you sense the vast machinery of the cosmos moving with absolute grace. An eclipse is not the absence of light. It is light remembering how to return. The shadow passes, the birds sing again, the warmth returns, and the sun, faithful and unchanged, rises into full brilliance. Every eclipse is the universe showing you its alignment, that even darkness has purpose. That sometimes you must lose sight of light to truly understand it. The pulse of the universe, how everything still echoes the beginning, at the edge of silence, everywhere and nowhere at once. A faint whisper hums. It is not sound, it is radiation, older than stars, older than galaxies. It is the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of creation itself. 13.8 billion years ago, the universe was pure energy, hot, bright, dense beyond imagining. Then, it expanded, cooled, and light was finally free to travel. That first light still moves through everything, faint but constant. Every atom, every breath, every night sky carries its echo. Scientists have captured it with satellites, mapping its temperature to millionths of a degree. It is astonishingly uniform, yet speckled with tiny fluctuations, the first seeds of galaxies. Those minuscule ripples became clusters, stars, planets, and eventually, you. The universe is still expanding, not slowing, but accelerating, space itself stretching between galaxies. The energy driving it, dark energy, remains one of the great mysteries, unseen yet felt in every direction. But even in its infinite growth, the universe remembers where it came from. That faint radiation is its lullaby, a background song that has never stopped playing. If you could listen deeply enough past the hum of machines, past the rustle of blood in your ears, you would hear it. The music of everything, a constant, quiet resonance filling all of space. It is not chaos, but continuity. Not noise, but memory. The universe began with light, and that light has never truly faded. It only softened, spreading, cooling, transforming into the gentle warmth that now surrounds you. Every heartbeat, every wave, every flicker of flame is part of that same unfolding. You are not separate from the Big Bang. You are one of its echoes, still expanding, still radiant, still here. And so, from the fire of stars to the stillness of rivers, from gravity's hand to the pulse of light itself, you can feel how the universe does not shout its secrets, it whispers them. Every explanation, every law, every discovery is just another word in that whisper. The cosmos isn't asking to be solved, it's asking to be listened to. The air that remembers, how every breath connects the world. Take a slow breath and realize what fills your lungs right now has been here before. The oxygen you draw in may once have brushed the feathers of a bird above the Nile, drifted through the leaves of an Amazon tree, or filled the lungs of a whale before returning to the sea. The air is not new. It is a circle, an unbroken chain of exchange. Every breath you take participates in a rhythm older than life itself. Plants pull in carbon dioxide and exhale oxygen through photosynthesis. Animals do the reverse, returning what the leaves need. Each inhalation completes the other's exhale, a partnership so perfect it happens without thought, without pause. You are part of this unseen conversation, a voice in the great choir of respiration. Even the composition of the air tells a story. 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, traces of argon, carbon dioxide, and neon. Each molecule a traveler through time, unchanged, endlessly recycled. The nitrogen in your lungs once thundered from lightning. The oxygen was freed from ancient oceans by cyanobacteria billions of years ago. The same atoms that let you sigh in relief tonight once belonged to stars. When you exhale, your breath doesn't vanish. It drifts outward. It joins the wind and merges with the sky. Someday, someone else will breathe it in, perhaps years, centuries, millennia from now. Every sigh, every whisper, every lullaby becomes part of the atmosphere's soft memory. So breathe slowly, and know that this moment connects you to everything that has ever lived. In and out, rise and fall, just as the planet breathes, just as the cosmos expands and contracts. Your breath is not yours alone. It belongs to the wind, to the forest, to the invisible tide that unites all things. The secret weight of water, how the ocean holds the world. You do not feel it, but the ocean beneath the moon's quiet pull carries more weight than all the continents combined. It presses gently against the crust, reshaping the earth with each tide. Every wave, every swell, every whisper of current exerts power enough to carve stone, to shift sand, to write poetry upon shorelines. Water has memory. A molecule that touches your fingertips tonight might once have fallen as snow on the Himalayas, might have drifted inside a raindrop over a forgotten desert, might have circled the globe 10,000 times before returning to meet you. Through its endless circulation, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, The ocean becomes the bloodstream of the planet. Scientists estimate that every molecule of water spends thousands of years in motion, rising, falling, freezing, melting, always changing but never lost. It absorbs heat from the equator and carries it toward the poles, balancing climate, tempering chaos. Without the ocean's patience, the Earth would burn and freeze in equal measure. And yet, water does not resist. It flows around obstacles, reshaping them with time and tenderness. Its weight is not oppressive, it is generous, the gravity that keeps continents stable, the cool breath that feeds clouds and rain. When you stand by the shore and listen to waves folding into themselves, you are hearing the sound of equilibrium, the Earth remembering its own heartbeat. The ocean does not shout its power. It hums, quietly, endlessly. And within that hum lies a lesson. Strength does not always rise, and sometimes it moves in circles, patient, unseen, unstoppable. The hidden pattern of the sky, how chaos becomes harmony. When you look at the night sky, it seems random stars scattered like spilled sand across a black sea. But if you could trace their positions, measure their light, follow their movement through centuries, you would find order, geometry, music. Galaxies spin according to gravity's ancient rhythm. Spiral arms unfolding in perfect logarithmic curves, clusters forming filaments that stretch across billions of light years. The universe, vast beyond imagination, still arranges itself with elegance. Each force balanced by another, each expansion met with pull, each orbit a dance. Chaos, it turns out, is just complexity we do not yet understand. Within apparent randomness hides design, a cosmic fractal repeating from the swirl of hurricanes to the spiral of seashells, from the curl of ferns to the shape of galaxies. The same mathematical constant, the golden ratio, appears in sunflower seeds and spiral nebulae alike. Even the motion of gas clouds follows pattern, turbulence giving birth to stars, entropy giving way to form. The universe does not fight disorder, it weaves it. Every imbalance births creation, every collapse a new beginning. To watch the stars is to watch meaning being born from motion. Their positions are ancient, yet always new. A light travelling for billions of years to touch your eyes for a single instant. In that instant, you are part of the pattern too. A momentary arrangement of atoms aligned with the same geometry that binds galaxies. And so, what seems random is harmony waiting to be seen. The sky is not chaos. It is order too large, too beautiful, too patient to hurry. And now, as breath joins wind, and water folds into tide, and stars hum their eternal geometry, you feel your own pulse matching theirs. Steady, infinite, luminous. The language of flame, how fire teaches transformation. Fire, the first friend of humankind, and its first teacher. Long before words, before metal, before cities, there was this light born of hunger, heat born of friction, the spark that turns night into home. But fire did not begin with us. It began with the stars. Every flame that flickers on Earth is an echo of fusion, the same reaction that keeps suns alive. When wood burns, it does not die, it changes. Carbon meets oxygen, bonds break and form again. Energy once stored in sunlight returns to the air as warmth and light. What looks like destruction is really liberation energy, remembering its origin. Even the smoke that rises carries story. Traces of resin, sap, soil, the fingerprint of forests turn to breath. Fire consumes, yes, but it also gives. Volcanoes birth new islands, lightning ignites renewal in forests, and the warmth of a hearth keeps the world soft through the longest night. Every living cell carries within it a small fire metabolism, the slow, controlled burning of sugar to keep you alive. You are a constellation of microscopic flames, tended carefully by the body's chemistry. Science names these reactions oxidation, combustion, energy transfer, but fire itself remains something more, a bridge between matter and motion. It dances because it cannot be still. Its beauty is not permanence, but release. To watch fire is to watch the art of letting go. A log becomes light, warmth, ash, nothing wasted, nothing lost. In each crackle and ember, you can hear a soft lesson whispered by the universe. Change is not an ending. It is continuation by another name. The secret life of soil, how Earth breathes beneath us. Beneath your feet, unseen and uncelebrated, lies one of the most complex ecosystems in existence. A handful of healthy soil holds more living beings than there are humans on the planet. Bacteria, fungi, nematodes, roots, and minerals intertwine like threads in a vast unseen tapestry. This is the skin of the earth alive, breathing, ancient. Every grain of soil began as stone, broken slowly by frost, rain, and time. Lichen and moss arrived first, cracking rock further, weaving life into death. As plants came, their roots fed the microbes, and the microbes fed them back, exchanging sugars for minerals, whispering nutrients through the ground. Scientists call this the rhizosphere, the hidden marketplace beneath forests and fields. Soil doesn't just grow life, it stores memory. It holds the carbon of fallen leaves, the footprints of vanished species, the trace of every rainfall for 1,000 years. Its scent after rain, petrichor, comes from bacterial breath and plant oil blending in the air, an aroma older than language. When you kneel and touch the ground, you touch a living archive. Every crumb hums with quiet industry decomposition, transformation, rebirth. Without soil, there is no forest, no river, no breath. It is the bridge between death and life, the unseen root of all renewal. The earth breathes not just through forests and oceans, but through dirt itself. And when we walk upon it, we are not treading over something inert. We are walking upon the planet's slow heartbeat, one that has never stopped. The dance of shadows, how light teaches us shape. Where there is light, there is shadow. They are twins inseparable, born at the same instant. We often chase the light, but it is the shadow that gives form to beauty. Without contrast, there is no shape. Without darkness, no depth. Every sunrise paints the world not just with color, but with dimension. Trees stretch their silhouettes, mountains carve their outlines into gold. Light defines reality, but shadow defines meaning. When photons meet an obstacle, they pause, bend, and fold around it. That pause is where shadow begins, not as emptiness, but as the memory of light passing by. Scientists describe light as both wave and particle, a paradox made visible. It moves through vacuum at 299,792 kilometers per second, yet hesitates when it meets you, scattering, reflecting, refracting. That hesitation creates the visual symphony you call the world. Artists have always known this secret. Shadow is not the absence of beauty, but its language. The chiaroscuro of nature, dark and bright, pause and pulse, mirrors the balance of the cosmos. Even the moon glows only because it borrows sunlight, its craters etched by the geometry of darkness. In the quiet of twilight, when shadows lengthen and light grows thin, you can feel this truth in your bones. You are not made of pure brightness, nor of night alone, but of the harmony between them. Your soul, too, is a chiaroscuro, a living balance of radiant and soft, seen and unseen. And so, when you rest tonight, let the shadows settle around you gently. They are not there to frighten, only to remind you that every light finds its grace in darkness. And now, as fire flickers low, as soil exhales its quiet breath, as shadow folds into light, you can sense how every element speaks the same language: transformation, renewal, balance. The cosmos doesn't rush, it only breathes, endlessly, wisely, beautifully. The memory of rain, how the sky learns to return. Rain does not fall, it returns. Every drop that touches your skin tonight began its journey long before you were born, rising as vapor from oceans, carried by wind across continents, cooled by mountain air, until it condensed into weight. It waited, suspended in silence, until gravity whispered, "Now." Each drop is unique, sculpted by the path it takes through the clouds. Some gather dust or salt, others fall clean as crystal. When they land, they nourish soil drinks, rivers swell, seeds wake, and then the cycle begins again. Scientists call this the hydrologic cycle, but that phrase feels too small for what it really is: the Earth's breathing. Evaporation is the inhale, condensation, the pause, precipitation, the exhale. Every rainstorm is part of this rhythm, connecting ocean to cloud to leaf to you. When raindrops strike a window, they do not fall at random. Each one follows the pull of surface tension and gravity, forming trails that mirror the veins in your hand or the channels of a river delta seen from above. The same physics that guides rivers shapes rain on glass pattern, repeating pattern, order emerging from chaos. And when the storm ends, when the last drop slides into silence, you can smell the petrichor, that earthy sweetness released when water meets soil. It's the scent of microbes awakening, of minerals greeting their oldest friend. That smell is the earth remembering. The rain never truly leaves. It becomes mist, breath, sea, cloud again. And somewhere perhaps 1,000 miles away it will fall once more, soft as forgiveness. So, when rain touches your face, don't hide from it. It's not falling on you. It's returning to you. The feather and the wind, how air learns to carry life. Somewhere above a field, a feather drifts, weightless, aimless, yet perfectly guided. It seems fragile, but it is an architect's masterpiece, built from thousands of tiny barbs and filaments woven into precision. A single feather is lighter than breath, yet strong enough to lift a life into the sky. Birds do not fight the wind, they join it. Every beat of their wings is a negotiation with pressure and lift. Air moves faster above the wing, slower beneath it, and the difference creates flight, an invisible cradle of physics and trust. Lift, drag, thrust, gravity, four forces in endless conversation. But the magic is not in the equations. It's in the silence. When you watch a bird glide without flapping, it is not defying gravity, it's collaborating with it. It has learned the wind's secret language, how to surrender at exactly the right moment. The same principle guides the flight of seeds. Maple whorls, dandelion fluff, spores that ride thermals for miles. Everything that drifts has faith in the unseen. Even in storms, air moves with purpose, rising, cooling, condensing, turning weather into song. It's what carries pollen to flowers, sound to ears, warmth to the waiting morning. Without it, there would be no clouds, no wings, no whispers. So, when you feel the wind move across your face, remember the feather. It is not struggling, it is listening. And in that listening, it learns to soar. The compass of the Earth, how the planet knows its direction. Beneath the crust, molten iron swirls slow, powerful, alive. This motion generates the Earth's magnetic field, an invisible shield that stretches thousands of miles into space, guiding birds, shielding us from cosmic rays, and shaping the northern lights. Magnetism is order within chaos, electrons spinning in harmony, aligning with unseen rhythm. Every compass you've ever held, every migratory bird, every sea turtle, crossing oceans, feels that same pull, the whisper of the planet's core calling home. In the Arctic sky, where the field meets solar wind, charged particles collide with oxygen and nitrogen. They glow green and violet, the aurora borealis. It's the Earth's heartbeat made visible, the magnetosphere shimmering like a veil. Every flicker you see is energy being balanced, the cosmos brushing against the atmosphere, creating light where there could have been harm. Even in the deepest caves, bacteria orient themselves along magnetic lines. Even your own brain carries traces of magnetite microscopic crystals responding faintly to the planet's field. You are, in a sense, a compass yourself. Scientists can measure its strength and drift, can map how the poles wander every year, but they cannot capture its poetry, that this great sphere of rock and water carries within it a memory of motion, a direction that is not imposed but remembered. The compass needle trembles, then settles, just like you, finding north again after being lost. And now, as rain falls, as feathers drift, as the aurora shimmers above the poles, you realize that every element, Every motion, every breath is the earth finding its balance again and again. There is no chaos, only choreography. No loss, only return. The breath of mountains, how stone teaches stillness. Mountains do not move, and yet they are always moving. They rise in slow defiance of time, pushed upward by the hidden strength of the earth's heart, only to bow again under rain, ice, and wind. It takes 1,000 lifetimes for a peak to grow, and 1,000 more to fade. What you see as permanence is really rhythm stretched across deep time. Inside their bones, pressure and heat rewrite stone. Limestone becomes marble. Shale becomes slate. Granite cools from molten fire. Each layer is a sentence in the language of geology compressed by silence, signed by patience. If you could listen closely enough, you would hear them creak. Not from age, but from life. For mountains breathe through fissures, through snowmelt, through the quiet migration of minerals and water deep inside. Their slopes guide rivers, their shadows shape wind, their presence alters the very path of clouds. The world below depends on their stillness, forests, glaciers, entire climates balanced on their ancient shoulders. Even when they crumble, they nourish. Their dust becomes soil. Their fragments seed new valleys. Climbers call them challenge. Poets call them silence. The earth calls them memory. They are the slowest heartbeat of the planet, steady, unwavering, eternal. When you stand upon one, you are standing atop millions of years of becoming. Every step, every stone, every echo beneath your boot is history condensed into form. So, when you look at the horizon, as when peaks fade blue in the distance, know this: you are watching time resting, and in that rest, you are invited to do the same. The shape of sound, how the universe learns to listen. Sound begins not in the ear, but in motion. A ripple through air, through water, through matter itself, pressure rising and falling faster than you can count. Even the faintest whisper carries force, bending the molecules around it. Silence, too, is sound only slowed until it touches stillness. The universe, vast and empty as it seems, hums. Planets vibrate. Stars pulse. Black holes sing in frequencies lower than time itself. Astronomers have translated these vibrations into tones deep, resonant, almost sacred. The cosmos is not quiet. It is simply speaking in wavelengths too long for human ears. On Earth, sound sculpts experience. Wind moving through grass creates rustle. Waves against rock create rhythm. The heartbeat inside your chest creates music older than speech. Even atoms vibrate in sympathy, their energy defining the pitch of matter itself. You are a symphony built of cells, each one oscillating in microscopic time. Science calls it resonance when two frequencies align, amplifying one another. That's why a voice can shatter glass or calm a soul. When you hum softly in the dark, the air around you changes. It listens, it responds. So close your eyes, feel the sound beneath hearing, the low murmur of your own being meeting the world's. The universe does not speak in words, it speaks in waves. And every wave, every sound, every silence is saying the same thing. I am here. The forest's dream, how life renews in shadow. In the heart of the forest, sunlight filters in fragments scattered through branches, caught in dew. Here, life grows not by rushing, but by remembering. The ground beneath is layered with centuries of fallen leaves, each one a story returned to soil. Decay is not death. It is preparation. Beneath the moss, beneath the roots, fungi weave luminous threads, mycelium a network, connecting trees and plants in silent communion. Through it, nutrients flow from old to young, from dying to newborn. The forest feeds itself through generosity. Even the fallen feed the living. Every scent you breathe here, pine resin, damp bark. The sweetness of rot is chemistry in conversation. Each molecule speaks to your body. Slow down. Breathe deeper. All remember stillness. Your pulse begins to mirror the rhythm of dripping water, of leaves shifting in wind. Scientists call it forest bathing, the measurable calm that settles upon those who walk among trees. Cortisol falls, heart rate softens, thoughts loosen like soil after rain. It is not magic. It is memory, your biology, remembering that it was once forest, too. In these shaded cathedrals, photosynthesis and decay share the same altar. Birth and death are not opposites. They are dance partners, circling endlessly. You can feel it underfoot, the soft ground rising and falling with centuries of renewal. So, sit for a while. Let the world move without you. Somewhere a leaf falls. Somewhere else, a seed awakens. And in between those two moments, the forest dreams. And now, as mountains hold still, as the air hums softly, as the forest breathes in its sleep, you sense that all creation moves at one tempo, slow, circular, infinite. Every sound, every silence, every life is part of one long exhale. And you are within it. The deepest silence, how the ocean holds its secrets. Far below the waves, beyond the reach of light or colour, lies a world that few have ever seen. Here, silence is not absence, it is texture. Sound travels faster in water than in air, yet at these depths, it becomes soft, heavy, and endless. The pressure is immense, hundreds of times greater than what your body could bear, yet life endures. The creatures here glow faintly, like thoughts half remembered. They do not see, they feel, they listen. Their bodies sense the tremor of distant earthquakes, the faint hum of whale song crossing thousands of miles. In this stillness, sound becomes memory. A fin brushing water, a pulse echoing through salt, every vibration a form of touch. Scientists send machines down, their metal hearts recording whispers of the deep. They find hydrothermal vents, fissures in the seafloor where the earth breathes heat. Out of those black chimneys rise shimmering plumes, rich with minerals, teeming with life that has never seen sunlight. Bacteria feed on chemical energy alone, chemosynthesis life, born from darkness, not light. From this mystery, new ecosystems bloom. The ocean floor is not barren, it is alive with quiet purpose. Its trenches are deeper than Everest is tall. Its plains stretch farther than imagination. And within it sleeps a slow heartbeat, the tectonic drift that built continents. So, when you hear the ocean at night, remember, the sound you love, that soft, rhythmic crashing, is just its surface breathing. Below that breath lies a cathedral of silence, vast, patient, eternal. It does not need to speak to be heard. The light of the moon, how reflection becomes grace. The moon has no light of its own. It glows because it borrows. Sunlight strikes its surface and scatters silver, gentle, softened by dust and distance. Every phase, from crescent to full, is a lesson in humility, brilliance, born of reflection. When astronauts walked its surface, they found no air, no sound, no life. And yet, it felt alive. Because its gravity pulls oceans, its rhythm shapes calendars, its presence steadies the planet's spin. Without the moon, the Earth would wobble, seasons would falter, tides would vanish. Each crater tells of impact meteors striking with unimaginable force, and yet those scars create beauty. They catch the light, shaping the moon's face into something human, familiar, eternal. Even now, its dust holds the footprints of every traveler who left and never returned, undisturbed by wind or rain, preserved by silence. The moon teaches that to shine does not mean to burn. It teaches gentleness, that borrowed light is still light, and that reflection is its own kind of creation. It asks nothing, yet gives rhythm to life. Its pull turns waves, its glow guides migrations, its cycles shape time itself. So, when you see it tonight, resting above the darkened earth, breathe once and feel its quiet influence. You do not need to radiate to be radiant. You need only reflect. The hidden time inside crystals. Inside a crystal, time moves differently. Atoms arrange themselves in perfect symmetry, repeating again and again a frozen dance of order. Where other matter drifts and decays, crystals hold their pattern for centuries. They are not alive, yet they grow molecule upon molecule, guided by temperature, pressure, and patience. Quartz hums with precision, vibrating thousands of times per second. That vibration keeps our clocks on time, our electronics aligned, our satellites true. We measure the world with stones that sing too softly for ears to hear. Gemstones, deep underground, form under impossible heat. Carbon crushed into diamond, impurities giving rise to color. Iron makes emerald, chromium makes ruby. Each crystal records its history in its lattice, a map of temperature, pressure, even the magnetic field of the Earth when it formed. To hold one is to hold a fragment of deep time, a memory of fire and pressure made visible. Scientists can read that memory like a diary tracing ancient climates, volcanic eruptions, even cosmic events that showered minerals from the sky. In their transparency lies truth. What is clear is not always simple. What shines most brightly is born of darkness. A crystal does not hurry. It only aligns, atom by atom, until beauty becomes inevitable. And when light passes through it, splitting into color, you see the spectrum of all that has ever been. Pressure turned to patience, chaos turned to form. And now, as the moon hums softly over silent seas, as crystals sleep within mountains, and as your own breath settles into still rhythm, you begin to understand nothing truly shines alone. Every light is reflection, every sound an echo, every life continuation. The weight of sunlight, how light shapes everything it touches. Light seems weightless, yet it moves worlds. Every second, the sun sends out more energy than all the power ever generated by humankind. A flood of photons traveling 93 million miles to reach your face. Each beam is ancient, leaving the sun 8 minutes ago, but born from fusion that began 100,000 years earlier within its heart. Inside that fire, hydrogen becomes helium, a pressure turns to radiance, and light begins its slow journey outward, bouncing atom to atom until it escapes. By the time it finds you, it carries the warmth of a star and the patience of eternity. When sunlight strikes your skin, it becomes chemistry. Your cells awaken, producing vitamin D, guiding hormones, regulating sleep. In plants, it triggers photosynthesis, turning light into sugar, air into food, emptiness into life. Every forest, every ocean bloom, every breath you take is built upon this quiet miracle. And yet, light is more than function, it's language. It paints the sky blue, the sunset red, the rainbow's arc in storm's retreat. It scatters in fog, bends in glass, slows in water. It gives form to time itself, morning, noon, dusk. Each color a different mood of the same eternal flame. Light does not hurry, yet it moves faster than anything known. It has no mass, yet it shapes gravity, bends around stars, escapes black holes only to whisper what it has seen. It defines what can be known. Everything visible is light's translation of matter. And as night falls, when sunlight fades into stars, remember, it has not vanished. It has only gone elsewhere, still traveling, still creating, still touching everything. Light never ends. It only continues its pilgrimage through space, until one day, it becomes you again. The rings of Saturn, how beauty forms from ruin. Far away, in the chill of the outer solar system, Saturn turns immense, slow, golden. Around it shimmer its rings, thin as memory, wide as millions of Earths laid side by side. They look solid, but they are made of fragments, ice, dust, ancient debris. Each piece orbits independently, dancing to gravity's rhythm, tracing invisible lines of balance. Scientists believe the rings were born from destruction, a shattered moon, torn apart by Saturn's pull, its remains scattered and caught in orbit. What was once collision became choreography. Chaos turned to beauty. When sunlight hits the rings, They glow soft, silver, unreal. They cast shadows across Saturn's clouds, rippling with storms the size of continents. From Earth, through a telescope, they seem eternal, but they are not. They are dissolving slowly, raining down upon the planet, particle by particle, vanishing into atmosphere. In 100 million years, they may be gone. Yet that impermanence makes them beautiful. Their grace exists because of their fragility, like frost on a window, like light on water, like breath on glass. They remind us that everything fleeting carries a special kind of truth. To watch Saturn is to watch time in balance. The silence of space, the patience of gravity, the poetry of impermanence. Even ruin, given enough time, learns how to orbit in harmony. The horizon of the universe, how space expands forever. Imagine standing at the edge of everything and finding there is no edge. The universe has no walls, no center. It stretches equally in all directions, expanding still, faster and faster. Galaxies move away like drifting lanterns, their light stretched into red, a phenomenon scientists call redshift. That shift is proof of motion, proof of time, proof that even nothingness can grow. Space itself is expanding not into something, but from itself. Every second, it stretches the distance between stars, between atoms, between you and the beginning. Yet from your small corner of it, it feels still. The quiet is deceptive beneath it. Everything flows outward like a slow, eternal tide. Astronomers measure this with the Hubble constant, a number that describes the speed of expansion. They find that even galaxies so distant their light began before Earth existed are now racing away at unimaginable speeds. And, beyond them, lies the cosmic horizon, the farthest light we can ever see, the edge of visibility itself. But beyond that horizon, the story continues. Space does not end, it simply exceeds understanding. Its expansion is not emptiness growing, but possibility unfolding. Every inch of vacuum hums with quantum potential particles flickering in and out of existence, tiny echoes of the first creation. And yet, this infinity does not feel cold. It feels patient, benevolent, generous. Because everything that has ever been stars, atoms, minds, arose from that expansion. You too are part of the universe's reaching, a small consciousness within a vast breath. The cosmos expands, and you expand with it. And now, as sunlight fades into rings, and galaxies drift beyond sight, you feel what science has always whispered, that wonder is not found in knowing the answers, but in realizing that the questions themselves are infinite. The secret pulse of life, how cells remember to begin again. Within you, there is an ocean made of motion. Trillions of cells move, divide, and rebuild quietly, faithfully, endlessly. Each cell carries the same blueprint, a spiral of code called DNA, written in 4 simple letters, A, T, C, G. From that alphabet, life composes symphonies: muscle, memory, breath, thought. Every cell is both a library and a builder. Inside its nucleus, enzymes unwind DNA, copy its sequences, and pass them along with infinite care. Mistakes are rare, yet when they happen, they often bring innovation, evolution, disguised as error. Even destruction serves purpose. Some cells self-destruct to protect the whole, releasing nutrients that others will use. Biologists call this dance homeostasis, the constant balancing act that keeps you alive. Blood regulates temperature. Hormones modulate emotion. Neurons fire to guide decision. Your body, though it seems still, is never resting. It is a galaxy of living motion, each part aware of its neighbors through chemicals, through light, through touch. Somewhere inside, mitochondria, remnants of ancient bacteria, burn sugar to create energy, exhaling carbon dioxide and water in perfect rhythm with the world outside. Even at rest, your heart beats 100,000 times a day, a metronome syncing with cosmic rhythm. The miracle is not that life exists, but that it remembers how. That each cell knows when to begin again, how to heal, when to divide, when to sleep. You are a moving equation of energy and grace, a self-sustaining sunrise written in biology, and every heartbeat you feel tonight is your body whispering the same ancient truth. I remember the color of earth, how soil holds the palette of creation. Look closely at the ground, and you will see a map of color older than language. Reds born of iron, blacks of carbon and clay, and yellows of sulfur and ochre, each hue revealing the story of a place. Color is chemistry made visible oxidation, minerals decay earth expressing memory through pigment. The soil of deserts gleams gold because iron has met oxygen under relentless Sunday. Volcanic ash turns fields black with fertility, each grain a spark of glass born from ancient fire. In forests, decomposed leaves feed fungi that paint the ground in greys and greens, soft as moss. Every tone, every texture, every scent, the whisper of molecules returning to balance. To the eye, it is beauty. To science, it is balance in action. Nitrogen feeds chlorophyll, which feeds light. Calcium fortifies bone and root alike. The same minerals that color the world color you. In medieval times, artists ground these soils into paint earth turned art. They called them terra colors, raw umber, sienna, ochre pigments made from the bones of the planet. When you look at a cave painting, you are looking at the earth painting itself through human hands. And when rain darkens the soil, deepening its hue, it is not just wetness, it is renewal. Moisture unlocks scent, life, and warmth. The planet, for a moment, breathes deeper, and you breathe with it. The earth does not keep her beauty hidden in the sky or the stars. She keeps it beneath your feet, where creation began, and where it will always return. The path of comets, how ice teaches memory to burn, in the farthest reaches of the solar system. Beyond the orbit of Neptune, frozen bodies sleep. Comets, fragments of the early universe, wander in long, silent orbits, their tails hidden until the sun calls them home. When they approach, heat awakens them. Ice turns to vapor, dust bursts forth, and they begin to glow luminous, temporary, alive again. Each comet carries within it the chemistry of beginnings: water, carbon, amino acids, the seeds of life. Billions of years ago, they rained upon Earth, delivering oceans, molecules, and memory. You drink from ancient comets every day without knowing. Their paths are vast ellipses, some taking centuries to return. Halley's Comet, for instance, last passed in 1986 and will come again in 2061, a slow breath of the cosmos. It leaves trails that Earth crosses, sparking meteor showers like the Perseids, shooting stars born of ancient ice. Astronomers chart their orbits with equations: velocity, perihelion, eccentricity, yet what remains indescribable is their grace. Each streak of light you see falling through night is a reminder of impermanence that glows. Fire born of cold, time made visible. Comets teach that even the most distant, frozen parts of the universe remember warmth. They vanish, but they never disappear. They circle back as all things do, carrying the message of return. And so, when you see a falling star, don't wish upon it. Listen to it. It is the universe whispering softly, "I remember too." And now, as comets fade beyond the stars, as the earth exhales color, as your pulse slows to the rhythm of creation, you begin to feel that the boundary between body and cosmos was never real. You were never separate. You are made of everything you wonder at, and everything you wonder at just still wonders back. The music of the wind, how the invisible becomes a song. You cannot see the wind, but you can hear its shape. Every whisper through leaves, every howl between mountains, every sigh beneath your window, it is air remembering movement. The world is an instrument, and wind is its player. Sound begins when air meets resistance, branch, wire, wing. The vibration becomes frequency, and frequency becomes tone. From this dance, the planet's oldest songs are born: the hum of dunes, the whistle of grass, the deep drone of storm across plain. Wind moves not randomly, but rhythmically following pressure and heat, translating sunlight into motion. Scientists trace its paths with satellites, measuring pressure and temperature, naming the great currents, the trade winds, the jet stream, the monsoon. But numbers cannot describe its feeling, the moment when breeze lifts hair from your skin or carries the scent of rain before it arrives. That is the wind's true language, invisible but intimate. Every gust you feel is a story that began elsewhere, over sea, over forest, over another life. When you breathe, you join that story. Each inhale is ancient air, passed through lungs, leaves, and time. The same molecules that once carried dust from the Sahara may now pass through your chest. Wind sculpts everything it touches. It shapes dunes, smooths mountains, guides migration. Even silence owes it a debt, for wind is what makes stillness meaningful. It is not emptiness, but pause the moment before another note in the earth's music. And so, when you feel it tonight, do not resist. Let it move through you. You are not separate from the song. You are one of its notes. The final horizon, how the universe learns to rest. There will come a time, far beyond counting, when the last star will burn its final light, hydrogen exhausted, helium gone, galaxies dimming one by one. In that distant age, the universe will grow quiet, not cold, not dead, but still. Physicists call it heat death, the point when energy has balanced so perfectly that nothing more can happen. No new stars, no new fire, no new motion. But this is not tragedy, it is equilibrium. After billions of years of creation and collapse, the cosmos will simply breathe out and rest. Even then, it will not vanish. Matter will drift. Black holes will evaporate. Light will stretch beyond sight, fading into wavelengths too long for eyes, too soft for senses. And somewhere, perhaps in one quiet corner, a single particle will hum the last vibration in an ocean of calm. Everything that ever lived, thought, or dreamed will be part of that final hush. You, too. The carbon in your bones, the oxygen in your lungs, the heat in your pulse, all will return to the same silence that began everything. And maybe that silence is not the end. Maybe it is preparation, the pause before another beginning. For if the universe has taught us anything, it is that endings are never final. They are simply moments between breaths. So rest now, as stars rest, as tides rest, as all light someday will. In this quiet, you are not disappearing. You are becoming part of the calm that holds everything together. And now, 50 truths have passed like constellations through your mind, each one a whisper, a thread, a shimmer in the great web of being. The world hums still, soft, eternal, complete. You can let go now, float within that hum, and feel the universe breathing with you. And so, we have drifted together through 50 soft revelations of the natural world, each one a breath, a pulse, a quiet awakening beneath the skin of thought. You have wandered through starlight and storm, through the whisper of forests and the silence of the sea, through the slow turning of time itself. And through it all, you were never apart from it. Close your eyes now and feel what remains. The world still turns, mountains breathe, clouds are forming in unseen air, light folds itself across the dark. Every breeze, every spark, every grain of soil moves to the same rhythm as your chest rising, falling. You are not observing nature, you are remembering it. In stillness, you can feel the vastness asking for nothing. It makes no demands, it only offers space. And in that space, every question loosens its grip. Every thought finds balance. There is no need to chase names or answers, no need to hold the next horizon. All that you have sought has already come home, woven into your heartbeat, into breath, into quiet knowing. Outside your window, the night continues without hurry. Stars drift like sleeping embers. The moon carries its soft light across the waves. Somewhere, a forest exhales. Somewhere, a river returns to the sea. And somewhere, very near, the universe listens through your stillness. Let yourself fade into that listening. Let thought melt into rhythm. There is no ending here, only return. The same silence that began everything, now welcomes you back calm, endless, kind. As galaxies turn their patient waltz, as light stretches toward forever, as the breath of the world settles into your own, you may rest. The universe is not outside you. It is within, soft, breathing, awake. And now, you can let go. Let the stars keep their vigil. Let the tides carry your dreams. Let the quiet of the cosmos cradle you into sleep.